Warm greeting, friends. Ben Elliott here from Deer Park Church. I hope you're doing very well today. Yesterday, Thursday, the Government of Alberta announced a number of new restrictions province-wide, and we wanted to make this short video as a response and to clarify our position as a church going forward in case there was any questions. And I'm sure there will be. If there's follow-up questions, please don't hesitate to email our office after watching through to the end. Most of all, we wanted to continue to say the church is still open. And actually, the good news that there is still hope is still available. That's the most important thing. And it's our primary role as a church to make sure that we continue to hold out hope and good news in the middle of what is, let's be honest, a very challenging time. On days when it's hard to hope, I want to encourage you to keep hoping. I want to call us together as a church family to continue to hope together for both this life and the life to come. We have a sure and certain future and a present that is secured in Jesus Christ. The other half of that is that as we meet and as we continue to hold out the good news of the gospel, you need to know that our commitment as a church to prudent responses to the pandemic is unchanged. We want to find a moderate and balanced path of holding out the gospel and being entirely compliant as we're able to all of the restrictions that are placed around us. And we want to continue charting that course. I was really thankful yesterday when Premier Kenney mentioned in regards to worship services that actually the majority of churches have already been following the guidelines. And it's only a handful of outlier churches and faith communities that have been causing a concern for the government. We read that as a signal from the Premier that the pattern of life that we have is the pattern that they are expecting us to have, that they don't have a concern with our current trajectory and what we're doing. With that being the case, I want you to know that we are planning to continue to stay the course with the pathway that we are on. We'll continue to offer the same core elements of our church ministry, cutting out extraneous things, but also making sure that all of the core elements of our church ministry are wrapped around with prudent health protocols to keep everyone safe. And be aware, there may be time, both in the short term or the long term, where we have reminders of some of the protocols that we have in place to make sure that we don't become too lax or too casual with these serious things that are going on around us. Our Sunday worship will continue at 9 o'clock with our micro-church service for families and children, and at 11 o'clock for our regular church service. Our building capacity has currently been limited by the government to 1/3 of our capacity. Well, 1/3 of our building capacity would be about 180 people upstairs and about 30 people in the overflow. We haven't come close to that limit yet, and if we did, we would look at the opportunity of creating an additional service or looking at some other alternative. Of course, our services will be online and available every week, so please do avail yourself of that. They're streamed at 11 o'clock each Sunday, but then are also available later on in the day if you wanted to follow up later on in the week. Our auditorium-based ministry to youth will continue going forward as long as we possibly can. We've made major changes to our youth ministry to cut down on mingling and make sure that our teens, just like they would be at school, find one seat and stay there with cleaning before and after. I'm so thankful for the flexibility, thinking of our microchurch service and our youth ministry, of how our team and our leadership has flexed to create a safe opportunity for children and families and teenagers to see one another, to have an enjoyable time together, and also to hear of God's good news. Our life groups are continuing. They're all meeting at the church now, in case you were wondering, so that they can have a safe, clean, and spread out environment in which to meet. And our life groups are capped at 15 people. So there are those ministries that are still going on at the church. And you need to know as well that our church is available for prayer and visitation as well. Prayer is our primary work. If you need someone to pray for you or with you, over the phone or in person, we would love to make a visit. After we film this, I'll be making a visit to pray with one of our friends this day we're always thankful for those opportunities, and that will never stop. With health and safety protocols in place, we are able to please connect at the church office. I would also like to say, though, that our office is, from here to Christmas, we will consider our office partially closed. That is, we'll be open on the inside with the opportunity for staff who aren't needed to be here to work from home, wherever that's a situation. We're going to have a online check-in and prayer together every morning at 9 a.m. If you have a significant need, a benevolent need, a prayer need, or a life need, please do not hesitate to call our office between 8:30 and 3:30 when we're open, or even to stop in and ring the doorbell. The door will be locked, but the doorbell's working. However, if you just need a chat, we are going to ask that between now and Christmas, even though I know you want to bring by home-baked cookies and I want to eat them, we would ask that we would find other alternatives or wait until after Christmas before we have those kind of visits. We want to join together and continue to do our part, to work with our government, our provincial government and federal government and municipal government, as they have been trying to create as much space as possible for us to worship in freedom, and we acknowledge and recognize that. As we go forward, we will be having check-ins to talk about lobby mingling, to make sure that after our services we pass through the lobby and don't stay and mingle, that we are guarding our hands and our breath with sanitization and distance, etc. And also, we will be following the lead of the Red Deer City Council on mandatory masks. Our current policy is that masks are available. They certainly are available every Sunday for those who would like them or have forgotten their mask at home, but they are not mandatory, but we will follow the lead of the City Council on them. My friends, as we turn our hearts to Christmas, I'm reminded of the ministry of Jesus. It says in Matthew chapter 4, when he started his ministry fulfilled the old prophecy that said, "Those who are living in a land of deep darkness have seen a great light." Sometimes this year has felt like a deep darkness, but especially at this Christmas time, I am glad that Jesus Christ gives light, and we will continue to hold out that light. May the light of Jesus be with you wherever you're at this day. God bless.